Well, I have been asked by some friends online if I have any particularly quirky watches. And I think this one probably is my most quirky watch. And I really do like it. I acquired this a little while ago. This is a 1983 Seiko FieldMaster. It's the 2C210080, otherwise known as the Contra, which I believe is a bit of a misnomer. These were supposedly, I think it's all folklore and legend, they were worn by Contra rebels, and if you were born before the 1990s, you probably have heard of Iran-Contra and all the political fallout of arming a set of anti-communist Nicaraguan rebels in the forests of Nicaragua in the 1980s by the Reagan administration. Anyway, all that aside, I think this is just a very cool camping, hiking, outdoorsy sort of watch that Seiko was marketing back in that era, as they were sort of, expanding their line to cover more of what people were looking for. And in classic Seiko fashion, they completely went past the mark in terms of what these watches offered and what was available. It's a very rugged watch. This one is extremely nice, as it's essentially a new old stock version of this watch. I have it here on this bracelet, this band, this sort of military style band. But you can see it still has its some blue dots on the back. Some of the really nice, well-preserved watch here. I think somebody bought it and just really never wore it. The reason I say that is because I have the two of the. Well, okay, so let's back up just a little bit. This watch is a module watch. It's a modular watch. You can see it comes in pieces. You have these two articulating halves of the watch that house a really cool movement here. This is actually a Seiko quartz, same movement as the H558 you find in an Arnie. So this is the original Arnie. These share a movement. This has the H558, really, really robust Seiko quartz movement. And it has a turning bezel feature, of course. It has, in this module, which is replaceable, it has a compass, which you can see is pointing north towards me. And you can take the compass module out by removing this set pin. And then it's glass-backed, very cool compass that you can place on your map. And if you want to, you could replace it with this, what's called map meter, which is essentially a little dial that tells you how far you would be walking on your map. So I'll get a map in a second. Okay, so let me bring in my favorite map. This is the Main Atlas and Gazetteer. So it's got really cool features. So we'll look here at Acadia National Park, which is a favorite. All right. So the way the map meter works is you use your map meter to figure out how far an unmarked or perhaps underdeveloped map would look. So the way you do that is you bring your map meter to 0. So I'm going to zero out my map meter here. That's pretty close. Let me see. All right, good. Now, this map has a scale of 1/2 inch equals 1 mile. All right, so here's 5 miles. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick conversion. So I don't know how exactly, this is actually kilometers and not miles. And so I have to do a bit of math in order to do that. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to set my map meter at 0 and then march out 5 miles. And what I see is that I get 3 kilometers. Now that just means I have to do a simple conversion of every 5 miles will give me 3 kilometers, and so I'll know my distance that I'm going in terms of now miles on the map. Right, so if I go back to my map, and let's see how far it is. Let's see. If I want to start, for example, in Northeast Harbor and go to Soamesville, I'm going to follow my map. And there we go. So my map meter reads about, well, that's convenient, it's about 4. Right, so if 3 miles is, or 3 kilometers is 5 miles, 4 kilometers is approximately 7 miles. So that's about right. Yeah, I think that's pretty close. So you can use this, of course, to just determine length of your walk if you were going somewhere. If you had a map that wasn't necessarily marked in the right way, but you had a scale that you can compare to, you could know exactly how far you're going. All right, that's really cool. And this then pops back in, which is great. All right, so now I have all my pieces here. The great thing about this watch is that it comes with all of its original stuff. Look at that. Hang tag from the 80s. It's got its band here, Seiko Sports. Those are really cool. And, you know, even down to the, like, purchase tag here and some extra band material. That's just neat. Anyway, so what's cool about this is you can configure the watch in any, you know, in one of 2 positions. You can put the watch part up here and the compass part down here, or vice versa, because they just interlock with spring bars. That would mean this is rotated, and that's the usual configuration you see them in. I like it like this because when I turn my wrist, it puts the compass flat. And so these wear a little strange because they're, you know, 25 or so millimeters across or 30 millimeters across, and then when you put it on, it's this long 60 millimeter, you know, watch, and it kind of curves in this way on your wrist so that when I turn it, this goes flat. Now I don't wear this hiking or anything, mostly because it's a new old stock piece. You can see again the blue back on the map meter, but it's a fun piece to have. These were really over designed. They just had, you know, they went over the top. You know, the case is titanium, it's lightweight. It has, you know, resistance to all sorts of things, Hardlex glass. You know, it's just shock resistant, magnetic resistant. It's pretty cool. It's got really broad range of thermal resistance. It's just a neat watch that has been over designed, and I would say probably underappreciated. It's you know, you just don't see them that often, and I'm not sure anybody really wears these as a daily wear watch. It's just not that practical. But you know, it does a great job. It's a cool watch, and it's sort of a conversation piece for sure. You know, I think having this with this little module configuration. Now there were different modules. There's a countdown timer that also came with these. They're pretty rare. You don't see that very often. There's a JDM version of this, which is again kind of an over-the-top styling. I think it has gold details, but again, such a cool, weird watch that you know, kind of caught my eye a little while ago, and is something that I really wanted to get. And you know, this one's not for sale, but it's part of my collection of things that I'm trying to look for strange and interesting Seikos that have, you know, perhaps been undervalued and underappreciated, and I think this is definitely one of them. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.